Hello, welcome back to Drive and Strive. Today, we're working on my sister's 2012 Chevy Malibu LTZ. We're going to be changing the oil today. I changed the headlight bulb not that long ago. I'll leave a link to the video right up here in the upper right-hand corner. But it should be relatively easy. I'm going to go ahead and start by, I'm going to put it on some ramps here. And while I'm putting it on ramps, it's going to go ahead and warm up. If your car is high enough, if your vehicle is high enough to where you don't have to use ramps, just start it up and let it run for a few minutes, and then you'll be able to start the oil draining process. Alright, so I want to go ahead and take the time to apologize for any wind noise that you guys might hear, because I'm working outside. But I already got it set up on the ramps. I already cracked the bolt. I got the oil pan under there. I'm going to show you what the bolt real quick before I drain the oil, and then I'll show you where the air filter or the oil filter is, and I'll pull that off and replace it as well. I also want to apologize for the video quality. I'm trying to adjust my video quality, so I'm hoping that this video will turn out okay, because I'm filming it differently. If it doesn't, I'll make another video on how to change the oil, and I'll post it. But anyway, down here, you come down here, you'll see right here there's already oil dripping out of it. That's your oil drain bolt on this vehicle. Alright, so you got your oil pan right here. You got your oil drain bolt. It's on this car it was a 15mm. And if you look, it's right by the support. I use this support to help guide me. It's right next to the lower control arm. Okay? And the lower control arm bolts to that. And right next to it, you'll see it. It'll be right next to that and part of the exhaust. So you want to be careful not to burn yourself on that either if your vehicle is warm. I got that cracked. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pull this over here. And we're going to pull this out. If there's washers on it, make sure you don't lose the washers. Whoa! Missed the pan a little bit. There we go. Alright. I'm gonna get out from underneath here, put this on a rag, and I'm gonna take the oil cap off. Alright everyone, so I'm back. The oil has almost completely drained, it's just dripping now. So now I'm gonna remove the oil filter. Now, up here you'll see this little blue thing right there. Right there. That guy right there, that's the oil filter. Now what you're going to do is, if it's hand tight, you should be able to remove it with your hands. Otherwise, there's several different types of tools that are manufactured that either grab onto the end or grab over the whole thing. And I'm going to use this tool to turn it and pull it off. And once that's done, I'll be able to pull that down, I'll replace it with a new one, and I'll start filling again then, because I need two hands to do this. Alrighty everybody, so I have the oil filter pulled out. It usually sits right about there. I got it pulled out. I got a new one right here. I've already matched it up to make sure that it fits. Alright, due to the angle that it's going to go on the car, I'm not going to fill it up beforehand because it'd just pour back out. I am, however, going to put a little bit of oil on the rubber seal here, just so it'll seal up against the motor nicely. And then after that, I'm going to fill up the car with oil, and when I get to that point, I'll start videoing again. But I do want to mention that whenever I was trying to take the oil filter out, excuse my dog, when I was trying to take it out, as I was saying, when I was taking the oil filter out, my oil filter removal tool unfortunately did not fit in the area very well. So I ended up having to stick my hand up from the bottom, and I had to twist it out. It was actually pretty easy, but depending on how long the previous filter was on, it could be a lot harder. So just keep that in mind. Your tool may not be able to fit, which means you might have to manhandle it a little bit and pull it out. So, alright guys, so now it's time to put some oil in this vehicle. I got the oil filter back on. It was definitely hard to get back on, but this specific vehicle takes 5W30. A lot of times it'll say it on your oil cap, and it should also say it in your owner's manual as well. So I got, please excuse my dog, I got a gallon of 5W30. I'm going to fill it up accordingly, and whenever it shows up on the dipstick to the top of the checkered marks, I still haven't wiped this dipstick off, so it still has oil on it, but when it shows up at the top of the checkered marks, it's full. So I'm going to fill it up accordingly until it gets all the way up there. We also got to keep in mind, though, that it does take a little bit before the oil gets all the way down to the bottom of the engine, where it will register on the dipstick. Because we don't want to overfill it, because that'll cause other problems. So we want to keep it at least in that checkered area. We want to get it to the top of it, though. So we're going to fill it up accordingly, and I'll fill you in when we get to that point. Alright guys, so I got the oil changed, and I got oil back in it. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to get under here. We're going to make sure that oil is not dripping out of the oil drain plug. We're going to make sure it's not dripping out of the oil filter, and I'll check the oil filter in a second, but we just want to make sure it's not dripping oil, and then we can back it down. Alright guys, well, she's been running for a couple of minutes. I just checked to make sure that it's not leaking any oil still, and it's still not. So it was a successful oil change. It was relatively simple. This car I did have to put on lamps, as I said before, but other vehicles like a truck or an SUV, a lot of times you don't have to jack them up and put them on ramps, because you'll just be able to fit underneath there, and it will also save you quite a bit of time. Okay guys, so in order to complete this, you're going to have to clear your oil life or change oil soon button, or light, and that'll be in your cluster here. I know in some of them there'll be a rod that you can push in and it'll clear it, but for this specific vehicle you got to click the info button until oil life comes up, and you're going to hold the info button here and your enter button at the same time, and then when you let off, it'll show up oil life reset. Then what you're going to do is you're going to hold the enter button, which will be this one right here, until the cluster shows acknowledged. There we go. Then you let go, turn off the car, and then you start it back up, and it's complete. So that's how you would reset that. Alright guys, so there you guys go. That's how you would change your oil in this 2012 Chevy Malibu LTZ. It was relatively easy and straightforward. Got a little bit of cleaning up left to do. But make sure you guys go and follow me on Instagram at DriveNStrive. I'll leave a link to it down in the description below. That way you guys can see what I'm up to before I post a video on YouTube. It was very fun for me to do this today. I hope the video comes out nice, because I've been messing with some settings and stuff, so hope it turns out great, and I'll see you guys in the next video.